Okay, we're not on Facebook yet, but we will be. We shan't be.
We need some Christmas music right now. Hey.
Let's see. And it worked. We're live.
Hey! Brindle Nation, how are you guys doing today?
Coined by the great Dalton Miller.
Yes, the infamous
Dalton Miller.
1 minute in, we're going to give Retire Flow a shout out into this Chroma. Amazing.
That's right. As you can all see, Dark Santa and Light Santa are here today to give some shiza away.
We have lots of giveaways we're going to be doing. Your chances to win have never been so high. I'm going to say that right now. This will probably be the best chance of any giveaway we've ever done of your chance to win. We're also giving you guys 2 different ways to enter. So normally we say you can only enter one way, one entry. You get 2 possible ways of entering today's giveaway. So be excited about that. We have some time here. We're going to stream for a while. We want to give everyone a chance. But before we get into the giveaway today.
Should we do it? Should we add everyone?
Yeah. Do you want me to do it? You want me to add everyone since you've been doing it?
Can you get beat up on?
Let me do it. Let me do it.
That'd be great.
While I'm doing this, you know what I was thinking about doing? Do you want to share your screen and show 7-Figure You
I'd love to
Brindle Nation so they can see what's going on with 7-Figure You? Guys, this is a really big discount we have. It's wrapping up today, Cyber Monday. This is the last day. If you saw any of our previous streams, if you've seen any of our advertising we've done or our Facebook ads, etc., this is your last chance to take advantage of this 80% discount where you can save $4,000 on lifetime access to 7-Figure University. So in just a second here, Christian's going to share his screen and give you an actual live view into all the different content that's accessible in the university. It's incredible. Over 250 videos, hundreds of hours of trainings. It goes through systems, technology, sales training, carriers, leads. It's a business in a box for an insurance agent. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. So while you're getting that set up, I'm going to drop the everything on everybody.
So you guys can't get mad at me.
That's right.
Just so you know. Just so you're aware.
My phone's almost dead, so it's plugged in. So I'm not like ignoring you when I turn this way, okay? Just so you're aware.
Okay. I was concerned. If I'm going to be honest with you.
I always feel like if I use the everyone in a sentence that it like softens the blow somehow, but that's probably just me like making it up. Here we go.
All right, guys. So we are viewing the 7-Figure Medicare University side of things. We'll jump into some of this other material because there's more than just this in a second here. But essentially what you're looking at is 3 courses that make up this platform right now. And that's going to change. It's going to continue to grow as time goes on. But we have the very, very popular 7-Figure Medicare University. We have Glenn's course, How to Present and Sell. Is it How to Present and Sell to Seniors? I can never get the title right.
It's How to Qualify, Present, and Sell Final Expense and Medicare Supplements to Seniors.
Yes. So there's that course included as well, which is about 50 videos of its own. And then we have a Go High Level course that is originally created for our 7-Figure CRM users, but we have bundled it included in 7-Figure University. But what we're looking at right now is, of course, 7-Figure Medicare University, which is my course that's ever expanding. I mean, there's a lot in here, guys. So it starts off with testimonials, a little bit about me and my backstory. If you give a crap about any of that, some people do. There's new agent material, getting started. What do I do? Getting contracts, AHIP certifications, Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplement, errors and omissions, HIPAA laws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It even gets into a little bit more advanced compliance for all of you compliance junkies out there. I know some of you just are in this business for the compliance. There's a lot of compliance talks in here with people that are much smarter compliance experts than myself. There is CRM training right here, why CRM matters, and just different functionality of a CRM. Of course, there's a lot more covered in the CRM course that comes with this. Medicare Center, of course. Lead sources, direct mail, what's working, what's not working on the direct mail side. Telemarketing leads, how to get the most out of Lead Hero leads and other telemarketing sources. Seminars, entire section about seminars, right? How to make $250K in 1 to 2 years just off of the back of seminars. Webinar I did, and then there's an actual live presentation of me doing a seminar in front of a sold-out room full of seniors, people turning 65. Facebook ads, how to run Facebook ads, generate leads on Facebook. Whole section of that. Sales training. Exactly our scripts and processes that we use internally. Whole section there. Systems, how to build an easy website if you don't have the budget to hawk out 10, 15K for a professional to build one for you. SEO tricks to get your website found a little easier. Automation, how we are automating things internally. This actually used to be a course on its own, and we just put it into the university a couple of years ago, and we've updated it a ton since then. Referrals, how to get more referrals, how to build referral partners, how to extract referrals out of your current business. Marketing, right? How do you dominate marketing? Marketing budgets, dominating your local market, more on seminars. Google My Business, AEP marketing, how to cross-sell, different products to cross-sell, carrier trainings, and on and on and on, guys. I don't want to bore you, but there's a lot here, as you can see. Growing an agency, Medicare Advantage sales, Medicare Supplement sales, our TRICARE and Veterans course is right here. Medicare knowledge in general, under 65, how to create content. If you ever wanted to know how we create content, how I create content, it's a whole course on that. Bonus trainings. Like, there's a lot in here, guys. This course alone is 170 videos, and it's growing all the time.
Crazy. That's almost 300 videos, you guys, between the 3 different courses we have in there right now, plus the live trainings, which are super valuable and keep you up to date as new stuff happens all the time in the industry, just like we talk about sometimes here on our lives with you guys. Now, I tagged everyone and I explained the rules to the game today, you guys. So just like you've seen previously here in the group, whenever we do a giveaway like this, we have someone from our team who pulls all of the qualified people from the comment section, and then we put you into one of our name wheel giveaways for your chance to win. Now, today you have 2 opportunities to enter. You can tag a friend who's in the group. So they have to already be in the group, because if they're not in the group, they won't get the notification. So if you have a friend that's in the group who might be interested in winning something on today's stream, tag them below. That's your chance for 1 entry. For a second entry, drop a question that you'd like us to answer. So it could be anything industry related, AEP related. We can talk more about compliance, CMS. We can talk about FMOs, IMOs, anything you guys want.
And if you're not watching in the group, if you're watching on YouTube or another platform or X or anything like that, I'll be monitoring those as well.
Whoa, multi-platform management. Look at you. That's incredible. Guys, Christian Brindle.
We don't want to discriminate against other platforms. Okay, now if you're watching the replay, there's nothing I got for you.
Yeah, that is the one caveat. Thank you for mentioning that. If you're watching the replay, at that point, there's really nothing we can do for you. Obviously, the content's still available. hashtag Team Replay. Feel free to still drop it below in the comments. You can still watch the video and hopefully get some gold nuggets out of today's video. But the actual giveaway, you have to do that now here live on the stream. So, that being said, one thing I was going to mention too while we're here live, we had the paralegal who made some big claims. I believe her name was Lisa. She had some very big and bold claims about the lawsuit happening against CMS. And I said, hey, I'm like, listen, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm like, you're a paralegal. I'm not. Post it in the group. Let's figure this out together. I don't feel like have you seen, I didn't see anything from this person yet.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm not a legal expert. I've never claimed to be. Neither one of us have, right? But I didn't get that impression at all when I read through the lawsuit myself. But I'm not a legal expert, and so I'm sure there's things in there that I missed, but I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to see.
I would love it. Lisa, if you see this stream, if anyone knows this person that I'm talking about, we'd love to see your analysis still. Please post that thing up in the group. Let's all get into it together. This is for the benefit of the industry. That's how I look at conversations like that. Good, bad, and ugly. Anything that's going on, we try to discuss here in the group. Anything that's hopefully not too politically motivated, we try to avoid. Obviously, the CMS commissioner, whoever's in charge of CMS,
that's too political for some of you guys.
That's a government position that's also in charge of Medicare that really has to be discussed. So
that's real political, Glenn.
I know it gets it gets messy, but we really do need to cover some of these pieces.
Okay, how am I going to do this? I want this over here, puffball over here. There's already some good questions kind of spilling into this. I know at some point we won't be able to see comments as more comments come through, so maybe we should just jump right in, shall we?
We absolutely should jump right in. First, for those of you, let's start with Dave's question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, for those of you just joining us, if you want to be entered into our giveaway, our massive life-changing giveaway, to finish out the Black Friday / Cyber Monday sale, 80% off of Seven Figure University, drop a comment in the comments on whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure that you ask a question, and you'll be entered into a giveaway. All right. So Dave's question, right?
Yes.
How do I get more leads?
How do you get more leads? It's a great question, Dave.
$1 million question, right?
Appreciate you being on the stream, Dave.
Absolutely. Do you want to start with that one, or do you want me to start with that one? What are you thinking?
I mean, there's a lot of ways. It sounds like a simple question, but if anything, there's so many different ways of generating leads, that we could really talk about. We could come at this from like a free perspective, right? Like if you're a brand new agent, you're trying to do lead gen, you have no money to spend. Or we could talk about paid marketing, shout out Lead Heroes. I don't know if there's an angle you want to take on this. And obviously I wanted to get to everybody's questions. So we can try to maybe keep this a little bit shorter, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, there is a lot of ways to answer that question. And there's really no way we can answer the entire it in its entirety. I mean, it's an hour-long video we could do completely on just that subject. But to give you a little bit of value on that, Dave, there's one thing I learned a long time ago, and everybody learns at one point in this business, is that all leads cost you time or money. Always. They always cost you one or the other, sweat equity or actual cash that you're shelling out, right? So it depending on kind of what your business model is, an example of something that's going to cost you time rather than money, is networking, building relationships with other business owners, building referral relationships with other agents maybe that aren't in your state, or maybe they don't sell what you sell, or maybe you're building a referral relationship up with like a provider's office, a doctor's office, a dentist's office, a CPA, elder law, and another type of, lawyer. Take your pick, right? Financial planners has been a big one for us over the years. And so, that's one way. Another way is, getting out there doing Medicare 101s, hosting bingos at different kind of things like that. The things you hear over and over and over again, they're not groundbreaking by any means, but they're tried and true. And there's a lot of people that build their business specifically on that. They never spend any money, and they build a business of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, sometimes 1,000 clients just by doing those types of things. But they absolutely grind and they work their butts off to do it. On the flip side, you can either buy leads, right? Shout out Lead Heroes.
Boom.
Lead Heroes.
Boom.
Sorry.
The heroes.
You can buy leads with a reputable marketing company like Lead Heroes. You can run ads. You can do seminars, do things that you pay for yourself. There's a lot of ways to get more leads. I think it just really depends on what your business model is going to be. Like, how do you want to get business? How much do you want to spend on business? And then coming up with a nice little, diversity, I guess, of lead flow. I always have, over the years, have prided myself on making sure that we have a lot of different flows of lead flow, right? Because if something dries up, you have other things you can fall back on. And that's really what I feel like is a really important thing when it comes to lead flow, is making sure that it's coming from all directions.
Some are more passive too, like these referral partners. Referral partners might not send you anybody for 6 months, and then all of a sudden, AAP's around the corner. They're getting questions left and right. And all of a sudden, they're sending you 10 or 20 people. So, if it's a passive lead stream, you definitely want to be diverse. I think, this is kind of cliche, but I always think back to when I saw the Mutual of Omaha, their career agent, or their captive agent, they had this like marketing graph, and they essentially showed like 5 different diverse ways of doing your marketing or lead gen. It was like paid leads, warm market. So, that's like friends and family, your dream 100, right? However you want to frame that. And then I think one of them too, and this one I think gets overlooked by a lot of you guys, is your existing clients, your existing book. People that have already bought from you have such a high propensity to buy from you again. So, if you're selling multiple lines of insurance, being able to talk to them, hey, I want to talk to you about, your policy. I want to do a policy review. I want to make sure everything still looks good for you. By the way, we're also involved in dental, vision, hearing, cancer insurance, final expense insurance, or maybe you're sending a mailer out. I really like newsletters. We were talking next year about how we can position a newsletter to our book of business, at ESI. So, that's something that is, again, kind of a passive form of marketing and lead generation. You can go, there's people that go to flea markets. I hear people that set up stands at flea markets and have success. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. I want to get to, there's so many questions dropping into the chat now. So I want to keep rolling, but Dave, I hope that was helpful. Lots of ways to get more leads.
Yep. And again, we could really rip that question apart and keep you guys on here for the next hour just on that and not answer any of your questions. But that's kind of a 10,000 foot view. Next question: best way to approach a potential account or office. I guess I want to make sure that I understand the question before I try to answer it. When you say a potential account, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like an office as a referral relationship, like we were just talking about? Like, can you clarify that question a little bit? I want to make sure that I'm. I know what I'm looking at before
I
I
have
throw the
a
dart.
that's my guess. Yeah, that's my guess based on what I'm reading as well as if you want a referral partner, like how would you approach them? But yeah, before we get into that, I say let's see if they're willing to offer some clarity on that.
Kelly had a question. How do I get leads on the cheap that work? That is also a $1 million question, right? I mean, leads that are cheap that work. Ultimately, the cheapest and best lead you're ever going to get is a referral, right? So
Right.
if you can build on referral partnerships and referral relationships, we get an ungodly amount of referrals. Several
Yes.
hundred a year at ESI, at CBIS, at our office, right? So that comes from years of relationship building and years of developing a good reputation. So it just kind of, there's some things you can do right away that within like a 3 to 6 month period, you can start seeing them come in. But like Glenn said earlier, you never know, right? It's not predictable. I will say this, guys, for any of you that are interested in kind of learning more about this, like anything that that you give time rather than money to get leads on, the time side of things is never going to be predictable. It's going to be here, there. You never have any control over it. Having real control over like how many leads I'm going to get today, right? And turning on a faucet, turning it off, that type of lead flow always costs money. Always.
Yes. Yeah, I think the referral does the cheapest best lead is a referral for sure. Again, just like we talked about a second ago, it's not something that you can necessarily like force though. You can't like just hit a switch and those referrals start coming your way. It takes time. It takes time, telling everyone all the time, hey, my specialty is Medicare insurance. I help seniors who have questions with their Medicare. Please, if you know anybody who needs help with their Medicare, please send them my way, and I'd love to help them. Like having that conversation 1,000 times a year over 5 years, and then all of a sudden your phone's ringing off the hook. And again, I've seen this happen firsthand many times. I've lost clients at Lead Heroes because people have had such strong referral streams start to get turned on where they're like, hey, Glenn, I know we've been working with you for a long time. We really love working with you. However, between our existing book of business and all these referral streams we have coming in, like we need to put your campaign on pause right now. That happens. That's a real thing. So yes, referral streams are incredible. They just take time. It's not something that just, overnight you can have your phone ringing off the hook with free qualified prospects. That's an unrealistic expectation. But yes, Kelly, I do appreciate the question.
And Kelly, I did see your other question. We will answer that one too. I promise. We'll get to that. How do I find a good FMO with mentorship? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know, mentor to thousands. What? No, I mean,
I love it.
I think it ultimately depends first on a big thing that I'm a big believer on is identifying first what you want out of a mentor, right?
Yes.
What is it that you want out of a mentor? Do you want somebody that's in your backyard that you can go on ride-alongs with? I feel
Right.
like most people too that they seek a mentor and they have this idea in their mind, oh, I need a mentor that's 5 or 10 minutes away from me. Usually, they never they meet them once and then they never see them again in person. Everything is over the phone or by email or something like that. So me personally, I don't really think there's that much stock in necessarily having a mentor close to you. I mean,
I totally agree with that sentiment.
yeah, it just, you see it over and over again, right? Like, I think it's more about the fit for you and what they teach and what you want to get out of it than it is where they are. Like I tell this story often when I was, really starting to build the agency and really starting to grow years ago. we were under 2 FMOs. One was local here, 10 minutes from us. Another was on the other side of the country. And we got way better support, way better guidance, way better mentorship, way better transparency from the one that was on the other side of the country. And the one that was down the street was the shittiest FMO we could possibly have worked with, right? So, and so, where somebody is located should be the last thing you're thinking about. But I honestly think, identifying what it is that you want to get out of it. How do you want to do business? Do you want to sell over the phone? Well, finding somebody that's got a lot of skills for telesales might be a good fit for you. Do you want to do face-to-face? Do you want to do seminars? Maybe linking up with somebody that, is doing that in a big way, or they've taught others to do that in a big way is a good move. But I think our company does a phenomenal job as an FMO.
Totally agree. Being able to get somebody on the phone, whether that's for contract, you have issues with a contract, issues with leads, issues with sales or carriers. Like, a lot of times uplines aren't available at all. They will send you a contracting link, or they'll send you a contract. That's it. That's all they care about. They just want you to sign that contract, and then they disappear into the woods. I personally experienced it many times. I think if you've been in the industry for longer than a minute, you've probably experienced an upline like that. So yeah, I think ESI, C-by-S, we do a great job of offering mentorship to agents. And the part, though, it is interesting, this idea that people want someone in their backyard. And I don't know exactly what I think what I personally think it is. I was thinking about this as you were talking. I think it's like a safety net. I think people look at it as like, if something horrible happens to me, or if I'm really struggling, I can drive to my mentor's house. And it's like, yes, in theory, but the reality is that your mentor, that person probably is a super busy individual. They probably have a successful business, right? Like, if you really want someone to be your mentor, you probably want someone that's successful in the industry, doing what you want to be doing, right? In some degree. So they're not going to have time to be like, yeah, come over to my house anytime. Like, let's sit down and go through this. Like, so the idea that, someone needs to be local to you, I think, is kind of this red herring. You can always jump a plane too. If you wanted to spend a couple of days with Christian, you want to spend a couple of days with me, like, we'd be happy to figure that out. You don't have to be in our backyard, right?
A lot of agents, there's been several, not a lot, I'd say there's been several agents of ours too. Like, they'll come out to the summit in June when we have it in Salt Lake historically, and they'll come in a couple days early and spend some time with me, here in the office. And, that offer is definitely available to anybody that is, a premier agent with us and, wants to come in early, that kind of thing, if you're coming to the summit. So yeah, I mean, I think understanding what it is that you're wanting helps you understand what you're looking for. And then you can better be equipped to find what's the best fit for you. That's the way I would look at it. But yeah. What's this lawsuit?
Yeah, multiple questions, but which is kind of like, does that blow your mind that that's even a question?
I feel like I feel like we've beat it. Me personally, right? Even on my own doing videos, I think it's been beaten to death.
Like, beat the horse to death. Now we've put it through a sausage meat grinder, and it's rotting and it smells bad, and nobody wants to talk about it anymore until something changes. Like, I'm surprised people don't know what the lawsuit is. But before we get into this, I want to circle back on what we're doing today for anyone who's just joining us now live. We are doing a massive giveaway today in honor of our Cyber Monday 7-Figure You discount, which ends tonight at midnight. You can get it 80% off for $9.97 till the end of today. Links in the comments, 7figureu.com. And for the giveaway, if you drop a question below this video on this stream while we're live, that gets you one chance of winning into the giveaway, one enter into the raffle. And then if you tag a friend who's in the group, that gets you a second possible entry into the raffle. After the stream's over, we will do the classic name wheel spin giveaway, and we will have several winners of multiple types of summit. We're going to do a summit ticket giveaway. We're going to do leads we're giving away. We're going to do an entry, a free account to the Seven Figure University we're going to give away. So there's going to be a bunch of different stuff we're giving away, both free. It's Santa Claus, Saint Nick. We're here. So that being said, now let's jump back into this. The lawsuit, Christian. What is the lawsuit? Who's getting sued? Is it me? Is it you? I don't know. What's going on? What's going on with this lawsuit?
And by extension, I hope it's not you either. Because if someone sues me, they're basically suing me too, and vice versa.
That's
so.
funny.
I won't say names, right? But some of the biggest, largest, NMOs, FMOs, IMOs in the space, have filed lawsuits against CMS about the final rule, stating a bunch of different things, but most notably, in my opinion, that leading up to AEP, there wasn't enough clarity provided with enough time advancement of the clarity being provided for it to be possible to be able to be followed during AEP, and that was the result of that was that the court issued a stay, meaning that several elements of the final rule were basically put on hold, and they didn't have to go in. They weren't going into effect until this court case wraps up and resolves, which it's been dragging through the rest of this year as we kind of anticipated, and we'll kind of see where things stand next year. I mean, new CMS leadership comes in. We just talked about this on a stream the other day. New CMS leadership comes in with the new presidential election. Presidential election politics. And you have to think, right? If I'm walking into that shit fire of a situation and I'm leading that, I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna be like, "Why are we being sued? For what? What are we doing?" Like, oh yeah, this does make no sense. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw this in the trash, like this is stupid. So who knows, they might even just be like, yeah, this final rule's dumb, let's throw it away, and then who knows, we'll have to see. But yeah,
I think that's a great recap. For those who, and maybe someone who's watching and has a link, feel free to drop a link in the comments. This is a situation that I think if you're in the industry in any capacity, you need to be aware of this for sure. Like, you need to know that this is going on, because again, it's one of those things where it could make a big difference in your business at the drop of a hat. If a judge rules in the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? And we have no idea. We have no idea a timeline on this. Nobody if you heard someone say it's happening in 30 days, they probably don't really know. At some point, there will be a ruling on this one way or another. And you need to know what's going on with it, because it could drastically alter your course of what you need to do. So yes, keep an eye out. Lawsuit against Final Rule CMS. It was filed in Texas, I believe. And we'll see if we can't get a link in the comments for those of you who might not be in the know. Again, this is one of those gold nuggets I talked about. If you're tuning in, you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, and you're like, what? There's a lawsuit going on? Yes, this is a huge deal. We've talked about this a ton. Check this out. It's super important to know. And again, shout out to Lisa, our paralegal expert friend here in the group. She claims to have an analysis that she wanted to share. I welcomed her to share it in the group. And again, I think the more discussion from all directions, the more eyeballs we can get on this, the better. So yeah, be in the know about it. Be on the watch. That is the lawsuit. That covers 2 questions. That was 2 for 1.
Yeah, talk about efficiency on this stream.
Oof.
All right, Kelly, let me change my question. How do I get tickets for the conference on the cheap? The best time to do that would have been getting them during the early bird sale. They were,
yes,
40% off at that point in time?
Yes. Or 50, 40 or 50?
Something like that. At the moment, we don't have any plans necessarily to discount them. Historically speaking, even with the summit, we've done usually a sale at the very beginning when they first go on sale, when the new event is announced for the next year. That will go for a week, maybe 2, and then it kind of stays the same for the most part. all the way up until the end, but we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
probably not going to happen. But don't get your hopes up. Just the event's expensive, y'all. So there's a lot it takes to pay for
keep an eye
everything.
out though. If something happens in between now and the event, we decide to have some type of promo or discount, we'll definitely make sure you guys are in the know here in the group. So, but yes, Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Check it out, sevenfigureagentsummit.com. You can get your ticket now. It is going to be June 22nd through the 24th, Salt Lake City at the Hilton. We already have essentially the entire speaker lineup booked. There might be couple spots left that we haven't filled. It is going to be insane. This will definitely be the best summit yet, for sure.
And we've also announced no speakers yet. 0. So pay attention for that, because that information will be coming sooner rather than later, boys and girls. Next question from Kayla. What are your 2025 marketing plans? Man, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, a great question too, Kayla. Shout out to Kayla Price.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us internally, I mean, when you own a lead company, it's kind of hard to justify too many other types of marketing when it comes to internal marketing. Not saying that we won't be doing it or we won't do it. This year we did, seminars during AEP. I'm sure we'll be doing more of those because historically they've been good. Facebook ads is usually a pretty constant thing with us, just to diversify the lead flow. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of lead heroes for 2025.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm assuming you're talking about, to bring in new clients and things like that. I mean, we market for that, but we also market, other products and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that'll probably be a lot of what we're doing. We've also, really ramped up the content marketing on the consumer side this year, and it's paid really good dividends. YouTube channel's doing good.
Here's a question I have for you. Does buying a book of business count as marketing?
I would say no.
Well, we want to.
That's like buying a stock, and then being like, "Oh, look, I made a sale." No.
I just made 800 sales. No, but we do want to do more marketing to the book of business, whether it's our current existing book or a new book that we're acquiring. That is something that we're planning for 2025 for
Year
sure.
of our Lord.
225.
225. What is your favorite post AEP cocktail? Well, for me personally, man, if it's post AEP, I'll do either a Long Island iced tea or a Cosmo.
It's got to be liquor.
Oof.
Cosmo. Oh my God. For me personally, it's an old fashioned with Basil Hayden's and orange. Give me a little slice of orange in there, a little orange peel. Basil Hayden's.
I've never been a fan of the old fashioned. I've tried it. I've tried to make myself like it. I just don't.
Do you like whiskey at all, though?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, see, it's hard. You're not gonna like a whiskey drink if you don't see it. Whiskey's probably my favorite. You know what I really like too, though, is I like peppermint schnapps a lot too, especially this time of year.
I can handle those. I like those.
It's so festive, Feels like you're drinking mouthwash. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel so left out. Tequila, I love tequila. Someone mentioned tequila.
There you go.
Mas tequila.
Now the stream's going in the right direction. It took 40 minutes, but we're finally going in the right direction here, you guys.
See, the thing is I on the old fashioned though, this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on. I promise. I feel like everyone that I love in my life or people I just am fond of, they like it. So I'll go out and hang out with people, I'll be at an event, I'll hang out with someone. And it seems like anyone and everyone that's what they're drinking, and they're like, "Oh, you want an old fashioned?" I'm like, "No, not really," but I want to like. I do. I want to like.
Why do I feel like I have a memory of like seeing you with one and not finishing? I feel like I've seen you like I swear to God, like I feel like I have this vision in my head of like you just like couple sips, like not really drinking it. It's just on the bar top. Like I swear that.
One of the summits, someone might have bought me one.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And
happened.
like I didn't want to be rude,
Yes.
So like,
yes.
so I was just like, I was like,
yeah, I tell you.
well, yeah.
Yes, yes, that definitely happened. That was a real thing for sure.
Tequila Sunrise, that's a jam of mine. Like Tequila Sunrise. I like tequila. If I ever go alcoholic, that'll be my drink of choice.
What a great question.
Yeah, I love that question.
There's a follow-up here. There's a serious question here by Gian right afterwards. How is the potential new rule about permission to contact going to change paid lead programs? Another great question going into 2025. So for some industries, such as aged leads, people who are reselling shared leads, it is going to be essentially a killer for them. They won't be able to resell those aged leads anymore, whereas historically they could, and you could call someone that opted into a completely different company's form, and then you could buy that lead down the road and call them, and it was totally compliant and legit. Now it has to be consented directly to you. Now here's the interesting part with what we've got set up at Lead Heroes. And I am now at this point in time, I was just talking to Christian this week. We are actually, believe it or not, I'm not going to mention any names, but we are actually working with the TCPA CMS attorney. It is the number one attorney in our industry we are currently working with. So when it comes to compliance, I feel good about saying we have a very good grasp of what the rules are and how they work and what the carriers think. So like we're like in the middle of it, like the heart of it, like we are right there. And what I can tell you is we have a system in place where we will be able to verbally reconsent these prospects directly to you, having them on the phone. So as long as we have that permission to contact and we're speaking to them and we say, hi, Martha, are you okay with speaking to Gian Smith about your Medicare options? And then as long as she says yes, boom. Now you have one-to-one consent and you have that proof of it through the recording. So that's the interesting part about what Christian and I have positioned right now is the call center is going to allow us to verbally reconsent these prospects to you guys going into next year, and you'll be able to still work the leads as long as you have that proof of that consent, which we give with every lead.
Yes.
Glenn
is our compliance officer. I don't know if you guys knew that. He's our internal compliance officer. He's the closest thing we have to it. Let me put it that way.
Involuntary, not by choice. Not by choice, but I've defaulted. I've fallen into it.
Okay, so following up on the previous question that we needed clarity on, right? So we got clarity. So the question was essentially, how do you approach, offices that, or, some other business that you want to build a referral relationship with? I can speak from experience because we have a lot of businesses, some of which I have not spoken to in like 8 or 9 years that still send us the occasional referral. They flip one over to us. What I learned early on was that you had to do 3 things really well to approach them. Number 1, you had to be unique in what you were offering them. And you had to be unique in general, right? You had to stand out because a lot of these people get it from all sides. We get it all the time. Probably at least once a week, someone comes into our office wanting to talk to me, and then half the time I'm right there, but I dress like this, so they don't know I'm me. So they think I'm like I'm like,
5-piece suit walking around or
yeah,
what?
that's what they are
Yeah.
expecting. Because our office is really nice. And so,
I'm a
like,
slob, but the office is
yeah,
really
pretty much. So
It's true though.
I'm
It's
in
true.
disguise. I'm hiding in plain sight. And so I'm like, oh yeah, give me your card. I'll make sure he gets it. I'm like,
I'm sure you've done that.
I
wouldn't be
really have.
surprised.
I'm not kidding. Like,
Christian's not here right now, but
yeah, be like, oh, the owner's not here. I would say the owner. I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, the owner. Make sure he
Owner's
gets
some
it.
loser. He's not here right now.
And then like half the time they'll be like, when he gets in, they would just Google search me before they came in. They would.
I have the
I
hiccups
couldn't
now
get away
from
with
this.
that shit. Like that tells me that none of these people do any research before they come in and see me. One thing I did with referral partners is I would do a little bit of research. I would go on their website sometimes. I would look at reviews. I would look at pictures on their Google My Business, just the basic kind of stuff. And so, I would usually walk in knowing a couple of things about them, and that would usually impress people. So that's the first thing is stand out. The second thing is focus on what's in it for them. So many people approach a referral relationship by focusing and talking about what's in it for you, and you're not thinking about what's in it for the other person. Like there's been a lot of times where a referral partner will walk into our office, like I mentioned, and they'll be like, yeah, I do, what do they do? All kinds of shit they do. They're like, yeah, I'm a financial planner. And I thought, you could send me your people for annuities. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? Who are you? What's in it for me? Nothing. Oh, goodbye.
Right.
Like I'm not a charity. And none of these other people are either. So you have to concentrate on what are you doing to make their lives easier, better, etc. And there's a follow-up question on that I saw somebody leave about, how to approach financial planners. So I'll save this for the next one. But the third one is gifts never hurt. So like we have two really good referral partners that are even in our buildings with us, right? We have a CPA that's across the parking lot from us, and we have a dentist office, both of which have sent us plenty of referrals to AEP even. A couple of weeks ago, I ordered some donuts, 2 things of donuts, and I walked them over to both of the office personally. Because like it's not the owner that cares about that, but the staff, like the front desk girls, they just light up. They're like, oh, and those are the people that are going to be sending you the referrals most of the time. They're the ones that are talking to the client and they're saying, oh, Sally needs help with Medicare. Christian Brindle Insurance Services over in Suite 101 is a good place to go. So those would be my big 3. Again, that's another one I could go into an hour spiel on, but.
Yeah, that's great. Jean, by the way, I apologize. I was saying Jean. It's just Jean, which makes sense. Christian and I are notorious. Yeah. Christian and I are
I will point out, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I'm trying to rope you into this.
I know, I can tell. I can tell.
Christian and I are notorious for butchering names. So
I am, though. He's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
I've said people's names wrong, like on stage.
Yes.
Like
multiple times.
I'm just bad with the names.
We should create a bingo card for the summit this year. and one of them should be Christian butchers someone's name on stage. It's like that's like the free space.
You do a pool. You do a pool. Which speaker will
over under, or maybe
over.
Like, will it be more than 2.5, or will it be less?
That's fun. Real good question from Ray. Can we still buy Lead Heroes appointments after AEP, or it has to be in AEP? The short answer is absolutely you can after AEP.
Yes.
They're year-round.
They are year-round. That's absolutely correct. Obviously, AEP is one of the best times to be working the preset appointments, but you can purchase them anytime. Now, my disclaimer, of course, if you were to purchase preset appointments right now and you said, hey, I want them delivered this week, that's probably not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, this week is 150% booked as far as our orders and what we're trying to already deliver on. So, but that being said, I'm not a tax professional, but if you're looking to spend money before the end of the year to potentially try to change your tax liability, and you're looking at spending marketing dollars for Q1 of 2025, feel free to hit us up. We would be happy to invoice you, or you can even purchase right through the Lead Heroes website at leadheroes.com. Ho, ho, ho. Guys, if you're just now tuning in, I am going to recap this really fast. We are doing a massive giveaway live here on the stream. If you drop a comment on the stream, or a question rather, if you drop a question that we can answer, that gets you one entry into the giveaway. And if you tag someone who's in the group who might be interested in the giveaway, and that's another entry into the raffle that we'll be doing. So you could potentially have 2 chances to win. There's going to be multiple prizes. We will have that posted after the stream's over. And of course, we have our 7-figure university Cyber Monday deal, which ends tonight at midnight. 80% off, saves you $4,000, over 250 videos, almost 300 videos. We went through it on the start of the stream if you missed it. Hundreds of hours of incredible content, hundreds of agents we've already helped with it. It's an incredible offer. I highly, highly recommend checking it out if you're interested. That being said, let's get back into it.
So these next 2 questions kind of blend together. So maybe we even tackle them together. Ray asked, and this is the one I was referencing earlier, best way to get a referral from a PNC agent or a financial planner. And then CJ said, when building a referral relationship, what value do you offer or bring up to them? At some point, you hope to give them leads, but when you're new and you don't have a big book of business, I assume they would want something in return. So the one I'm really going to fixate on this, and what actually was a little bit of a specialty of mine early on in my career was financial planners. I got a lot of financial planners early on in my career that I developed relationships with that would send me referrals. And then it just turned into something where it was just silly because I would just trip into financial planners in my everyday life. I'm like, how did I find you? I'll never forget there was, I just learned how to write TRICARE people. By the way, I pioneered that. Me. Nobody remembers. None of you were here in this group when I was going to war on that. But anyway, one of my first TRICARE members, when I learned how to do that years ago, go to his house, write a Patriot plan up. It wasn't called Patriot back then. It was called something else. For him and his wife. They're both turning 65, pretty close by to each other. Find out he's a financial planner, been one for 30 years, one's a practice out of his house. And at this point, I already had like 8 financial planners that were sending me referrals. He turned into one of my best referral partners. They're still clients, by the way. I don't get as many referrals from them anymore. I don't know how active he is. They're in their 70s now, but it just seems like once you get it down, you just trip into them, right? So what I would always do with financial planners, and this is a great way to kind of tackle this when you have nothing to offer, right? Because the obvious answer is, how do you bring value to them? You send your clients to them, right? And you certainly do your best to do that when the opportunity presents itself. But with a financial planner, especially one that doesn't do Medicare, the best thing that you can present them with in the pitch, and this was my pitch, and it worked extremely well, was pitching them on the idea that other financial planners, a lot of you probably heard me say this before if you watch the YouTube channel, but it's a tried and true one. Other financial planners that are their competitors that are doing Medicare are using it to get into the door so they can come back later and replace the financial planning services that they put on that person, right? The annuity, the security, whatever it is. They're using Medicare as a foot in the door. That is the purpose of it for other financial planners. And by not having somebody take care of the Medicare needs for your client, you're leaving yourself exposed to let other competitors get into the door with your client. So my pitch to them was, I don't do what you do. I don't do financial planning. At the time, I didn't do annuities. We still don't do annuities. It doesn't mean we won't ever. But we'll piss off a lot of referral partners if we do that. So that's something I got to think about. But like, the pitch was, I don't do what you do. I don't do annuities. I don't do securities. I don't do anything like that. I don't do any money management. So not only is your business going to be protected, but I will also edify you. I'll send your clients back to you for what you do. I'll make you look really good. But the most important thing is I'll protect your business from a competitor using Medicare to get in the door and steal your business. And that was a big selling point for people. Also, I mean, I've heard people say, don't pay referral fees, etc. I think that's so stupid because I have several referral partners that have sent me tons of referrals over the years, and most of them don't care about it, especially financial planner, but you never know because there's a few here and there that I've found that the only reason they do it is because they feel like they're getting a little bit of the action, right? Like
Yeah.
they're benefiting from it. So what we do is we send $100 referral fee anytime. And a lot of you in the group have sent referrals to us. If have a client in a state that you're not licensed in or something like that, that we pay $100 referral fee anytime you send a referral to us for a Medicare Advantage MedSup application that we're able to write. So we'd pay referral fees. And that was a very, very fruitful model for us. And that was how we were able to bring value without really having any referrals to send them, at least at the beginning. But then, of course, once we got to the point where we had 8, 9, 10 financial planner referral partners, and we were starting to grow, we had clients we could send them, we started referring to the ones that sent us the most referrals.
I think Christian just crushed that. And I'm sitting here looking at the questions pour in. I don't want to spend too much time on the same question that Christian just covered there. But I did want to mention one thing that he said. I was thinking about this from the marketing side. What I can tell you with Turning 65 marketing specifically, and this shocked me when I found out, but it's something crazy. Like almost half of the Turning 65 marketing that's going on is specifically folks mining for financial products, and they don't give a shit about the Medicare policy. So again, when Susie Senior has 50 direct mail pieces in front of her, half of those is a financial planner, and they don't care about the Medicare at all, even though it's a Medicare piece, right? You're turning 65, you have Medicare coming up, you're retiring, please reach out. All they're doing is they'd be like, yeah, Medicare is great. Anyways, let's talk about your retirement. Like that's literally what's happening with probably half of Turning 65 marketing. Now, that being said, let's jump into the next one here because I want to try to answer as many of these questions as we possibly can. Here's a great, Kelly said, what's on your head, Christian? Which, what's so funny about this is I've been staring at Christian this whole time, and it looks like one of those like Russian hats. That's what it looks like to me.
I have one of those, by the way. I bought one the other day.
Of course you do. Of course.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I did buy one.
In Soviet Russia, Christian sells Medicare to Putin.
In Soviet Russia, comrade, hat wears you.
Oh my gosh, it's a dark Santa. He's bad Santa, you guys. That's what he's wearing. He's wearing a dark Santa hat.
That's right. That is right.
Here's a great question from Tom. I feel like we've kind of touched on this, but maybe we could talk a little bit more about it. What should I expect from an FMO in terms of support?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. In my opinion, I would expect guidance, training, updates on things that are going on, updates on new products that are coming out that could be useful in your portfolio, availability, right? Returning your emails, returning phone calls, incentives when it's available, when it's necessary. I mean, that incentives might be a dirty word in our current landscape of final rule and everything, but when compliant and when appropriate incentives. Like I'll use us as an example, right? We have created this model where anything an agent could need, we have, right? So we have the university we just showed you at the beginning of this stream. That is a robust training platform. It's like Glenn says, as well as anyone can, it's a business in a box, right? Most FMOs provide training that is just bland. It's like how I got referrals in the 80s, you know what I mean? In the 90s. Or it's a carrier rep coming in and being like, our dental plan only has a 6-month waiting period, or what, or whatever. Like,
Right.
there's no value. You can't build a business off of just their information. Whereas I do believe, and there's plenty of agents that have done it, that have built a business off of Seven Figure University information. So like real training, not just bland bullshit training that you could just go to the carriers and get. Not saying all the carriers training is bullshit, but like they're training on their own products mostly, right? It's just, you can only go so far with that. Yeah, okay, I know everything about this insurance company's plans, but what do I do if I can't get in front of anybody? Like, you know what I mean? Like the information's useless if I don't have any clients or any prospects. So I think so we provide that to our agents for free. We have a CRM, a Go High Level CRM we provide to our agents for free, and Seven Figure CRM. We provide, discounts on our marketing services and our virtual assistant services with Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes. So we've created this almost like platform where there's all these resources that are available to our agents. And I think that's what I would expect. Of course, Connecture, Sunfire, CSG, quoting and enrollment tools, you should expect. Anything I'm missing, Glenn? Transparency?
Man, yeah, I think the big thing for me, and again, I think we kind of touched on this earlier. I think, and Christian just kind of touched on it too. I think communication is such a big piece of it. If you can't get somebody on the phone when there's a problem, what are you supposed to do? And it could be a carrier problem, a policy problem, and a lot of times it's redirect, right? It's just like, hey, this is what you need to do. Go do this, right? But if you can't get someone on the phone, that's like step one in the red flag game of your FMO, your upline. Like communication's everything to me. So, but yeah, I think Christian touched on it. And then the next question kind of ties into this question. So I think we can move on to the next question while still answering this FMO question. From Eddie, what are the top 3 to 5 systems or processes that is essential to your agent's success? So, Christian touched on training, right? So training has to be there. It has to be ongoing training. Rules change, as we've already talked about. Carriers change how their policies work. Sales training should be, I think, looked at on at least an annual basis. Even if you think you're an expert in the field, I think you can always revisit sales training, since there are so many things that are changing on a year-to-year basis with technology, with the with the CMS rules, with the carriers, with the policies, etc. So training is one of the keys to our most successful agents for sure. They have access to training. They actually take the time to go through the training. We had an agent tell us this AEP that they went through some of our training twice before AEP started because they wanted to really be up to date on everything, which I thought was awesome. So, again, shout out to Seven Figure University. That training's available for really all of you guys. You don't even have to be contracted with us. You can get access to that training. 2 is, I'd say you really need some type of CRM system. Whether you're using Seven Figure CRM or some other CRM, you got to be able to track your leads. You've got to have some type of follow-up. It makes a huge difference. We're talking about 3 times the more policies being closed per lead. You get 100 leads, you're going to probably close 3 times more if you have a CRM. I've seen those numbers play out over and over and over again over the past 10 years I've been doing this. So, that there's 2. Do you have a couple you want to throw in there? So, training and CRM, those were my 2.
Yeah, I think standard operating procedures are big for us internally for Lead Heroes and for the agency, right? Just what do you do in certain situations? What do you do if a client calls up and asks for this? This is probably more helpful when you have staff, right? And you need like a team to function in a certain way. But like, I think standard operating procedures just take the guesswork out of things for the team. So I think that's a big one, especially when you have as many employees as we do, right? Like
even if you have one part-time employee, you still need SOPs, you know? You have one part-time assistant, which I would argue every single agent probably needs, at least one part-time assistant helping them with the phones, helping them with data entry, etc. Like, SOPs are huge. I love SOPs.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I think on top of that, Glenn kind of hit it right on the head with the other items, the training, CRM, all of those different kind of things. Yeah, I think, just all of those things allow you to just kind of have a smooth system that just works like clockwork. And that's what you need in your business as much as possible. Everyone's trying to get it figured out and fine-tuned more than they did before or more than the next guy. But I think those things help a lot. Ray had wasn't really a question, but we kind of skipped over. I thought it was super relevant just to quickly address. I've sent PNC agents referrals and they never reciprocated it. Totally understand on the referral part of things. That's going to happen. Yes. Referral partners, like everything else, is a numbers game.
Yes.
So I've always said, if you want to get, 1 or 2 good referral partners, you probably need to get 5 that have verbally committed to be your referral partner. And then you'll find out real quickly who the good ones are and who they aren't. So it just means you just need more referral partners.
100%.
They won't all be created equal. Thanks for the clarification on the lawsuit. Absolutely. If you was to become a 1099 agent, what all states do you think is a must to get if you want to do mainly telesales? That's a good question.
Every single state. There's no doubt in my mind you make more money if you're licensed in more states. I think that's the rule of thumb, right? Done. Move on. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. I
don't know if I agree with that. No, I think obviously in terms of getting lead flow, right? Like if someone called us up at Lead Heroes, let's say, and they needed a big order and they could, we could get them leads in all 50 states, that would help us do that.
For sure.
Right?
It helps you get more leads, potentially cheaper, potentially faster, for sure. That's valid, for sure.
Yeah. That being said, if you're just starting out, the more states you get in is the more extra expense you're going to have. Getting in additional states is expensive, right? Trust me, we know. We're not even in all 50. We're in like 45, and it costs us probably 10 to 15,000 a year, probably.
Yes.
Because there's your individual license fees, there's your agency license fees, there's a lot of carriers charge non-resident appointment fee, not a lot, but a couple important ones, and I'll leave it at that. That they take out of your commissions or they make you pay it up front. If it was me and I wanted to do just telesales, I would certainly, obviously my home state and maybe a couple surrounding states. And I think I'd leave it at that. Don't you think?
Yeah. 5 to 7. 5 to 7. And honestly, you could start with 2 or 3. The joke, I was really trying to be funny. I don't think it came across funny, but
no, I think it's funny.
Well,
I couldn't tell if you were joking or not at first. I was like,
there's a lot of agents that believe, and Christian and I interact with these agents all the time. There's this belief that if I'm in 100 states, right? I'm licensed twice in every state. I'm in 100 states, that I am going to make more money. Yeah, if I'm just licensed in every single state, I'm naturally. It's kind of like the same people who think if I get every single insurance license that's available, I'm going to naturally make more money. That's another like similar thought that these agents have out there. It's like I've got my PNC license, I've got my life and health license, I've got my 6 and 63, I've got my Series 7. Like they go through, they get all these licenses. Like that's great, but you have to have like a marketing and sales plan to actually make money. And same thing with getting licensed in a bunch of states. I think waiting until, like, let's say you have your core states. Once you have a referral or a reason to get into a new state, I think that's when it makes sense to be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get my Arizona license because I just had 2 people get referred to me from Arizona. Now you're actually making money.
Mm-hmm.
But don't go out there and just get licensed in a bunch of states just to be able to be like, I'm going to put on my website, I'm licensed in all 50 states. Like, no, don't do that.
Gonna put it on my website that no one goes to.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Glenn just said. I mean, for me, every state we ever got in at CBIS/ESI over the years was because we had a need. There was an app that needed to be written.
Yes.
There
Yes.
was some reason why we had to pick it up. Even to this day, we just picked up, I'll give you an example, Minnesota earlier this year. Never was in Minnesota. Didn't really want to get in Minnesota. Nothing against Minnesota. Minnesota's fine, but like, we just had never needed it. In 10 years, I'm like, why do we need this stupid state? But we got it, and it was because, there was, it was really for some agents of ours that were licensed there, and it causes a big stink if their FMO isn't us. And so, even to this day, I begrudgingly pick up states when we have to.
Yeah.
Because if you get licensed, like Glenn said, in those states and you're not doing anything with it, it's just wasted money.
Yep. 100%.
How bad will Oz be? I don't know. I really don't know. What do you think, Glenn?
I don't know. Again, this is one of those dead horses that Christian and I have talked a lot about since he got nominated already. This would probably be like our 4th or 5th time talking about it. I would say that the one thing that I think Christian and I both really agree on that I think is worth mentioning is, like, regardless of how good or bad he ends up being, how can he be worse than what we're already experiencing, right? I would think that we can all kind of get on that same page, right?
Yes.
But the reality is we have no idea. It's all speculation. He could come in and maybe there's a bunch of changes he wants to make that doesn't help us as much as we were hoping. I don't know. We have no idea. But I'm pretty confident when I say I don't think it can be worse than what we're experiencing or we've already experienced.
Yeah, I mean, guys, when you are coming out of Nazi Germany, you're not concerned about where you're going. You're just excited to get out of there.
You love this analogy, don't you?
Yes.
You love this analogy.
As inappropriate as it is. No, I'm just saying, you get out of, oppression, which is what we've been in. I mean, we just did a stream about this last week, this freaking proposal, What word would you use for it other than that? Oppression. Do you really care where you're going? Like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you another example. Let's say you're in an abusive relationship. Let's say you're in an abusive relationship. Let's say Glenn's wife goes crazy and starts beating him up on a daily basis. Or my wife, right? Let's say it's me getting beaten up. If you get out of that relationship, you're not thinking about, well, is the next person going to be better? No, you're just like anyone else.
Standing ovation, you guys, for Christian's analogy. They keep getting better, It's just one great analogy after another. But yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I really do. I think it will be positive change overall. That's my expectation. I hope I'm not wrong. Time will tell. We'll know a lot more in 6 months. That's how I feel. Is 6 months from now, I think we'll be able to get on a stream and be like, hey, this is what's going on, good, bad, and ugly. So stay tuned on that one. Another really great question from Tom. Best way to find a book of business to buy? Christian and I want to do a full mini course for you guys on this because we've made several purchases this year, some small, some really big, some huge, some massive, some of the best books in the industry we've bought. And we want you guys to know all the ins and outs, because I think there's a lot of people that want that. I think a lot of people want to know how to buy books, just like you asked, Tom. So, Christian, what do you think? How do you find a book of business to buy?
Yeah, without going too deep into the weeds on it, I mean, probably the best way is to find an agent that's local to you, especially if you know your market really well, who's retiring. Somebody that wants to get out of the business. That helps. It helps if they want to get out of the business.
Yeah.
The agent, there's services that literally, private equity groups backed and things like that. They'll literally just market all day long to people looking for people that want to get out of the business. And I think that's probably the best place to start. But I'll save a lot of the nuggets for that additional training we're going to do on that.
Yeah. There's we'll get a lot deeper into that. But another great question here from CJ. Does Lead Heroes offer ancillary leads? So like, I'm assuming that means like ancillary policies like dental, vision, and hearing, cancer, short-term care. We don't have fixed cost ancillary leads. However, there's options such as custom calling, where we can customize the campaign based on what you're looking for. This is also super relevant because in 2025, I foresee a much bigger emphasis. We kind of already saw it start this year, in my opinion, but I think we're going to see this continual growth, not just, Christian and I internally at our agency at ESI, but I think industry-wide, you'll see a lot more focus on ancillary products because they don't have the same type of regulation that Medicare does. So you can sign someone up for a cancer insurance plan, a dental, vision, hearing plan. They're now your clients. And now you can market to them differently than you would market to someone who's not your client, right? You don't have to follow all those same rules because they're your client. So that's one piece of it. And the other piece of it is from a perspective of blanking on the word here, the stickiness of the business, your loss rate. What's that word?
Your
retention. Retention. Yeah, persistency, retention.
Yeah, tomato.
Yeah, multiple policies on one client yield a much higher retention, a much better persistency. So there will be a lot more. Stay tuned on that one as well. Stay tuned. We'll have a lot more talk about ancillary products going into 2025.
Love it.
Yes. Christian, recap for the people. Why are we here? What are we doing today?
Yes.
What's going on? Give us a little recap.
If you're just joining us at the hour 17:35 mark, we are.
It's a telethon. It's a telethon.
Yes, we are doing massive giveaways for you guys today to celebrate our Black Friday sale of Seven Figure University coming to an end, where it's 80% off. And essentially, guys, if you're just joining us, all you have to do to be entered in to win is to leave a comment on one of the platforms we're streaming on. Currently, there's 3. Trace. I did go to Spanish class. And you'll be entered to win. Glenn, what are the prizes the people will be getting?
Lots of options once you win. So you're going to be entered into this raffle giveaway. It'll be a name wheel. You've seen us do it before in the past. So if we spin and you win, you'll be able to pick from a summit ticket, free leads from Lead Heroes, access to the Seven Figure University platform, which again, available 80% off right now if you would like to purchase before midnight tonight. And potentially more. So that it'll be a separate post after this stream's done. But yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be big. It's going to be a big, big, big giveaway. I'm wearing a Santa hat for a reason, you guys. This isn't just for fun. It's because I'm essentially Santa today.
But it's kind of fun.
Dark Santa. Dark Santa. No.
Lisa asked a good question. Does CMS regulate the referral fee amount? Well, I'm going to have to turn you over to our compliance officer, Glenn Shelton, on that.
Um,
They
please
used
don't.
to. They used to. And when I say referral fee, I'm talking about to like another person who's licensed, right? Another agent of some kind. So that's kind of where it stops. But yeah, I mean they certainly used to. I know it's gone up. I just don't even remember for the life of me what it's gone up to. We've just never changed it. We just kind of kept it. When I came into the business, I believe it was 100, and we just never changed it. But I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. I know it's gone up since then. That's all I can remember. Someone else, anyone else remembers, you're welcome to throw it in the chat.
Throw it into the chat. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. I want to try to get to as many of these as we possibly can. Ray mentioned
You see
some
Jason's
more
comment?
What will Medicare look like in 2027? Almost missed that one here.
I don't know.
All right, let me get my crystal ball out, Jason. Hang on.
That's
my
a great question.
Hang on. Let me see. Let me see if I can see into the future of my crystal ball here. Well, should we just take? You want to just take a stab at it?
Sure. So 20. I'm positive that was asked as like a joke, but we're gonna take it seriously.
It's no joke here. We're going to 22 years. You just jumped 2 years in the future.
Not really. No, 21, 27. That's 100.
No, it's 2020. It's 2027.
No, look at the comment again. It's 21, 27.
I see 2020. What will Jason?
Unless he edited it. I'm looking at 21, 27.
Yeah, on my end it says 2027.
Here, I'm gonna send you a picture. Anyway,
Jason, did you edit this just to try to mess with us? Because that's not cool, dude. That's not cool if you edited.
Yeah, okay, just
21, 27. We are all robots at that point.
We're dead.
Yeah, we're all dead.
So let's say 2027.
Let's say 2027.
Let's take it with that. Let's just take it with that. So 2027, I mean, we'll be a couple years into the new CMS leadership at that point. I would expect deregulation of some kind. No idea exactly what. I think AI will be a much bigger part of our industry than it is now. Yes. We've been having conversations about this internally.
Yes.
So, I think the industry will be booming. You put it that way. I think the industry will be doing great. I think some regulations will be pulled back. Business will be allowed a little bit more. And then, those that are harnessing the technology are just going to catapult to new heights. It's kind of my early prediction, I guess.
Yeah. So we're all getting terminated in the next couple of years, and AI will be replacing us, and all of those profits will be going directly to Dr. Oz. So just to kind of paint a picture for 2027 for you guys. No, I don't think it'll be. I don't see a radical change happening. If anything, I do think it'll probably be better than it is right now. That's what I'm hoping for as well. I'm hoping for some potential deregulation, some lessening in oversight, lessening in rules. Maybe the 48-hour rule's gone. So yeah, hopefully some of the better changes that we're hoping to see by then. But you never know, right? That's just some speculation. Gina says, and unless I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologize, but I think it's Gina. Do you have any agents in Washington State? Hello, Pacific Northwest. What's going on? I don't know if we have too many others, though, up here.
We don't have a lot. We have a couple in that area relatively, but we don't have a lot. We don't have a big team or anything like that.
We did just get 7 agents in Oregon, though.
We did. We did. Yeah, I mean, so we have some, around, but we don't have we don't have a huge amount. It's not a huge footprint for us yet.
Yes,
We're coming.
we are. In a big way. In a big, scary way.
How many policies did each of you write your first year? Interesting question. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
The tough part, I saw this question, and the tough part is I can't necessarily extrapolate the number of policies. I can tell you the premium. I know approximately the premium amount because I wrote about 125 to 150,000 in premium. It was all life for me.
Nice.
Mostly mortgage protections. Some of that was final expense. So, I wish I had the contracts that we have now, because then I would have actually made money. But my contracts were so low that premium amount translated to, not nearly what you would think that actually went back into my pocket as an agent. But yeah, it was, I wrote over 6 figures in premium my first 12 months as an agent. So I was stoked about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How would you answer that?
I probably did about, I couldn't even tell you the exact number because I don't remember the exact number, but it was in the ballpark of probably about 150 apps my first 12 months, something like that. My first 3 months or so, my first 3 months or so, I probably only wrote about 15 or so, though I got off to a slow start. And then I did well that AEP and just kind of kept chugging from there. But because I started in July of my first year, and it's kind of in the middle of the summer. DSNPs weren't really a thing, at least here when I started. So it was really T65 and then MedSup rewrites, and that was pretty much all we could do on the Medicare side of things. And so, it took me a little bit to build the pipeline up, and I struggled a little bit the first couple months, but yeah, I mean, ended up probably about 150 apps first 12 months.
It's super impressive. And I will say too, that
at 21,
at that age, also Medicare, I think, is a lot more difficult to understand as a brand new agent. Like first 12, if you're going 12 months to 12 months, a life agent versus a Medicare agent, it is technically insurance sales. We're both life health agents, whatever, but I think that's super impressive. So I think it's very telling too. I will say this as well. I think the first 6 to 12 months of an insurance agent's career, I think it's very rare that a very successful agent does like nothing in their first 12 months. I'm sure there's a few examples, right? I'm sure there's a few examples up there. Right. Very few. That's the exception. The rule, in my opinion, is if you're going to make it in this industry, you better kick ass those first 12 months. Like you better just absolutely, you're working Saturdays. I know my first year, I worked every single Saturday. You're working nights. Yeah, he still does. He's a workaholic. It's different. He doesn't have to now. He just does it because he's addicted.
Yeah,
it's different. But no, I mean, I would say I was working every Saturday. I was working almost every night. Like I was working nights, Saturdays. Like that's the sort of, that's the thing is like I left a job looking for more flexibility when I joined the industry. But then my first 12 months, I worked even more than I did when I was at the job I didn't like.
Yep.
But
yeah, my first 2, now that I think about it, my first 4 or 5 months, I was also working a part-time job too, because I couldn't pay my rent. Because specifically alone on my sales alone, I was working a job. I was making $9.50 an hour, I think, something like that.
Was that picture you posted of you holding your business card was that your first?
No, that was year 3.
Year 3.
Yeah, year 3. I was already cranking at that point. I was doing really well.
Well, that's crazy because you looked like a struggling agent in the photo. So
I remember it pretty vividly, that moment. I walked in, I unbuttoned my dress shirt and everything like that. So like my dress shirt's unbuttoned in that picture, the shirt underneath looks like it's been through hell because it had, so it looks worse than it is. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, my first 4 months or so, I was working a full-time job before I got my license, and then I kept that job and went down to part-time. So I was also working a part-time job first 4 months or so, and then I think halfway through AEP or so, I quit the job because I was doing really well, and I was like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. Like I would
Mic
go
drop.
I would go in and I'd make 2 or 3 grand in a week or something like that, or more, and then I'd go to this job afterward and make $9.50 an hour, and I'm like, why am I doing this? As I'm going into AEP, I'm like, why am I
Yeah.
doing this? And I think not doing both of those helped me too, because you
Yeah.
get tired. Even at 21, you get tired.
At 21,
Even
you
at
can't
21.
get tired at 21. Guys, I've got about 15 minutes left here in the stream. So I want to recap before we wrap up what's going on today. If you're just now joining us, we have a massive, massive discount. You see some comments already in this stream in the Facebook group specifically, where I'm looking at comments of agents who have access to the university talking about how great it is. There's been hundreds of agents that have already gotten access who've made some very, very highly successful careers from the training that they've had access to in the university. So the link's also in the comments, sevenfigureu.com, 80% off till midnight. Until the end of this live stream, you can also enter into our giveaway by one of two things. Drop a question on the stream. Let us know something you'd love to hear more about. We can have a quick discussion about it before we wrap up. Or tag a friend who's in the group, and then they can maybe get access to this, and if not, catch the replay at least. So that being said, let's see how many questions we can get to before the end of this stream.
We're getting pretty close to the end.
Yeah.
So Bella said, "Hi, Christian and Glenn. Just found your page a few months ago. And I really appreciate you both. You provide so much value and information." Thanks, Bella. I appreciate that. Where
Yes.
are you located? I jumped on late, and so if you mentioned it, I missed it. So I am personally located. We kind of have an interesting dynamic for if you're not familiar with us, right? So for those of you that don't know, Glenn and I are business partners. We both created and founded companies. Not for long. No.
Check the front door. Certified mail is at the front door for you.
You've been served, sir. But both of us founded and built and grew companies of our own. I built an insurance agency. Glenn built a marketing and lead generation company, and we merged in January. But I'm located in Utah, just outside of Salt Lake City. That's where the agency is located. Glenn is, I can never keep track, whether it's Oregon or Washington. But
please don't disclose for my safety where I am. Thank you. I prefer you not to say.
Undisclosed location.
Christian's not sure on the map either. Like if you put a globe in front of him or the map, you'd be like, "Hey, where's Glenn?" He'd be like, "Ah!" He's like,
"I'm in Alaska." I'm like, "There."
The Philippines? Is he in the Philippines? Like, no, you're close. Keep trying. I am just outside Portland, Oregon. So I am on the coast. So Oregon touches the Pacific Ocean. Christian didn't know that when we first started working together, but there's Portland and then the Pacific Ocean's touching the edge there, and I'm right there on the coast of Oregon.
Glenn's texting me. He's like, "We're at the beach." And I'm like, "How did you get there?" I'm like, "You go to California?" I'm like, "How did you do that?"
I thought California was the whole West Coast.
I thought it went all the way up to Canada.
All the way up.
To Canada.
To Canada. No, that's a great recap though. For those, I always assume, I have this assumption whenever we're doing a stream or any sort of content, I assume like, oh, everybody knows who we are and everybody knows what's going on. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who join. We've had a huge growth this year with the group, especially. We've had thousands of you join just this year. So
yep.
I think that's a good recap. We came together. We've been working together for years, kind of saw this opportunity to merge companies. I would say it's gone incredibly well, to be honest. I'd say it's gone better than expectations. I had expectations of it hopefully going well. I think we've exceeded that. Just the synergy of, again, a successful insurance agency, a successful marketing agency coming together and being able to do that together has been awesome. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Agreed. Best FMO for Georgia and Alabama. Hello. Just kidding. Oh, guys, I mean, we're licensed in both states. We can work with you. But if you're looking for someone that's boots on the ground, I don't have any names for you. Sorry, I don't. I'm sure there's some. I don't know.
There is on the leadheroes.com website, there is an IMO FMO guide.
Yeah.
You have hundreds of FMOs and IMOs listed. So you can try to search by location. I think you can search by location. I know we have addresses listed, so you can maybe try to go that route if you're really wanting someone kind of local. Someone just asked a funny question. Well, it's not funny, but it's a will you ever hold the summit on the West? Is Utah the West Coast?
It's close. It's much closer than Savannah was. That's
yeah.
I don't know. I guess depending on what your idea of the West Coast is. It's going to be in Salt Lake City this year. That's very close to the West Coast. I think it's, there's events every year that happen in Vegas and things like that. But, it's much more West Coast than a lot of events are. Last year we went East Coast for Savannah. Amazing event. Had a great time. But come on, Salt Lake City.
Come on.
No humidity. Let's just shit on this year's event. No humidity. You can't fall into the river and drown.
We lost 3 agents to crocodiles, guys.
No crocodiles.
No crocodiles.
There's no bugs here, really. Like, it's perfect in June. It's like 85 degrees. Pretty good.
It is nice. You got the mountains. Beautiful. Bunch of outdoor stuff. There's always, every time that there's been a summit in Utah, the content that gets shared afterwards from agents who stay or they come early and they're finding stuff to do outside of the industry, non-work related, non-summit related things. It's amazing what is available. So yeah, check it out.
100%. Did we get to them all?
Gene, shout out to you for working every Saturday, first year as a Medicare agent. I love that. Maybe Dr. Oz will put that as a benefit.
Jason's question. Why do 98% of my DSNP clients have fire alarm batteries that chirp?
That's hilarious.
I love it.
Do you have teams in Texas? Do we have a team in Texas?
No, we just have kind of one-off agents. We don't really have a team. Like a lot of areas we do have like teams. In Florida we have teams. California we have teams. Colorado, Hawaii, North Carolina, New Jersey, but not really as much a team necessarily. But we do have like individual agents that kind of work solo. They're like lone wolves in Texas.
Oh, Ray asked a really great question. This could potentially be our final question, you guys, as we get to the end of the stream here. Again, appreciate everybody who's participated. I can't wait to do the giveaway afterwards. I think we're going to have a lot of winners from those who stayed and engaged with us. Ray said, Facebook ads. Everyone I used, I could never get a hold of anyone. Any suggestions? Not sure what's wrong. Ray, it's not you. Let me put it that way. This has historically, in my opinion, been one of the worst parts of a Facebook ad lead. You can get Facebook leads very easily. You can throw up an ad. You can know nothing about Facebook. You can log in, put an ad up, spend, whatever it is you're going to spend per day. You'll see that lead come through. and then try to get a hold of that person and you never can. And this is a very common thing. So I wouldn't say that this is a problem that you specifically are dealing with. I'd say this is a problem a lot of people deal with. And so how do you overcome it? Christian, what would you say? What do you think is the best way to overcome this problem if you were to answer this?
There's two things I think that you could look at doing. Number one, you could change the ad to raise the intent. Number two, you could reevaluate the way you're working the leads. And so if we kind of dissect a little bit, the first thing I said, change the ad. A lot of times people will be like, oh, I got a Facebook ad and that's generating leads for $5 or, $8 or $10, whatever the case might be. But it might be such low intent in the ad copy and the actual ad itself that like, it's just too easy for people to fill it out. It's clickbaity,
Yeah.
It doesn't, but the person doesn't have as much intent to fill it out. Right. And then also people are filling out probably 25 ads that look like yours, that have low intent. So like they're getting called like crazy. They fill out every ad they see kind of deal. Whereas if you add maybe a few more questions to the ad, you change up the messaging about what they're going to be getting, your ad costs will go up, but your intent will probably go up too. So instead of making it clickbaity, make it, more so, what you can do for them, maybe ask more questions when you're gathering information, right? If you're only asking a couple of questions, maybe try asking more questions. So there's more hoops for them to jump through to fill it out. And that way, they're more serious. But it'll raise your ad costs. It definitely will, but it might make it a more valuable lead. That's number one. Number two, it depends, if you want to, if it is a case where you're working $5 leads, $10 leads, whatever the case might be, and you're not getting a hold of them, maybe just see what your touch points are, right? How many times are you calling through? What kind of automations do you have hitting them? Do you have text automations going out? Do you have email automations going out? What are your touch points? My suggestion is to have 15 to 25 total touch points from a lead. Whether it's, an automation that emphasizes, text messages going out, emails, that kind of thing. And then also you calling them 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, something like that.
Yeah.
If you can get the contact rate up, you can get the close rate up. And so those are probably the two options I would seriously look at. Either one can be effective. It just depends on kind of what you value more. Are you comfortable paying a little bit more for the lead if the intent is a little bit better? On the flip side, if you like what you're paying for the lead, are you comfortable just hammering them? I love hammering leads. I love it. Love it.
I think you could drive the traffic. So another thing too is Facebook makes it so easy to submit your information on an ad. I've almost submitted my information on an ad several times where I'm like, whoa, don't do that. So like, it's that easy to submit info to generate a lead, is that people are sometimes doing it accidentally. So that's part of the problem with the low intent. So you could drive that traffic to your website and have them fill out a form on your website. That's one strategy that would increase the intent, like Christian's talking about. It's also going to increase most likely your cost per lead without a doubt. Because again, they're having to go to your site, read the form, fill out the form. You're capturing that, then you're calling in. The second option that I thought of is increasing the volume. So if you have a low intent ad and you're not getting everybody on the phone, but maybe you've had a little tiny bit of success, like maybe you've gotten 20 leads and you had like one sale come out of it, something like that. You could just go for volume, just increase how much you're spending, generate a lot more leads, and then just try to make up for numbers, play the numbers game, right? Play the volume game. And just knowing that if I can just close X number, even if I have to spend more, because that's where I think a lot of agents fall into this trap of, I want to make 100 sales this month, but I'm only going to spend, $1,000. Mm-hmm. And then they get super bummed out. And it's like, oh man, I didn't close 97% of my leads to hit my goal. And it's like, well, your expectations were super off. It's like, try to close that many sales, only spend $1,000, close 97% of your leads, like you are pretty much wrong on all sides of this. So,
Yep. It's a great point.
Yeah. Christian, I'd like to kind of get into our final thoughts here. Let's wrap up the stream. We're getting close to 6 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock Eastern. What a massive stream this has been. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Christian, final thoughts for today's giveaway 7-figure university sale.
Guys, my final thoughts would be, if you're not in the university, I highly recommend it. I really appreciate Ray and Kelly, mentioning in the comments and others about how much value they've been able to get out of the university. There's something to be said about lifetime access, right? Lifetime access, meaning that you pick it up today and it's something that you will be able to benefit from for years to come if you keep utilizing it. We update the content. We invite you starting back in January. Basically, January through September has been historically how we've done it. Weekly training calls with me, where I teach on something we're doing internally in the agency. And yeah, I mean, and it's just a beautiful thing, right? So like you can pay for it today. There's so many people in there that bought it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Those people that got him 4 years ago, you guys are sitting pretty, and a lot of those names I see that show up to our streams every week are people that I know bought it years ago, and there's no recurring fees or anything like that. So we went a good part of this year not offering it lifetime, and making it only available for month to month. Now that we have it back available, we have it discounted 80%. It's going to be $5,000 flat normally, but if you get it now, it's only $997.97. So yeah, I mean, I think investing in your business is a great idea. And yeah, I'll drop the link in the Facebook stream. You guys are welcome to reach out if you have any questions on it, but I think it's a great asset for your business. And I highly recommend considering it.
I love it. Just want to highlight again, Christian, I try to give you guys as much intel as possible right here in the group on these live streams, YouTube, wherever you find us. It is tough sometimes to go down certain rabbit holes to give you as much information as you're looking for in this content form.
Yep.
I'll give you a great example of something that came up on the stream today that I know a lot of you want help with. You want information on buying books of business. And Christian, we shared a little bit about that on this stream today, but we want to go deep. We want to really share our knowledge with you guys, like just completely brain dump. Again, one of the things we spent more time on than almost anything over the past 6 months was that topic is buying a book of business. How do we finance it? How do we get those clients? What about the contract? All of it, right? I mean, there's so many moving pieces to it, and we want to really help you guys with it. And we can't get as deep as we want to. So obviously the university is a great place where you can access a lot of this knowledge. So definitely check out 7figureu.com, but we'll also have probably some mini courses coming out too on certain topics that might not be in the university. So keep an eye out for that as well. But I think understanding that, keep tuning into these streams, keep an eye out on the content for free that we give like this. Definitely keep doing that. But if you really want to go deep on some of these topics and be a master or really learn how you can do some of this stuff for yourself, check out the university. Stay tuned for potentially some mini courses. And yeah, let's get ready for 2025 just being the best year ever. I think that should be everybody's perspective.
Project 2025.
Dark Santa! No, Dark Santa!
Stop, Dark Santa! Amen to that. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, guys, comment #team replay. If you end up watching on the replay, we love seeing you guys that come back and watch later. Thanks for being here. Enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of these, let us know. because it's a freaking time investment for us. So
It
we want to
is.
know that you guys like them.
It'll probably be, by the way, it'll probably be tomorrow that we'll announce the winners because it's so late. So I don't want you guys to think we get off the stream, we don't announce the winners. I don't want you to think we're trying to run away here. Tomorrow, because it's so late, we'll make sure those winners get announced of today's giveaway. And tonight, the promotion ends, the sale ends. Cyber Monday ends tonight. So check that out before midnight tonight.
Love it. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, you guys. You are the real rock stars, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.